So the first domino has fallen when it comes to the NFL. It just broke not too long ago that the Houston Texans are firing Bill O'Brien, and it was definitely long overdue. Oh man, it's been a bit of a long day. I'm enjoying myself a protein shake before I smoke a blunt, and then probably eat a sandwich, and I should probably cover my macros for today. Um, yeah, Bill O'Brien definitely needed to get fired. He was the head coach for the Texans. I think he was going on his sixth or seventh season, something like that. Um, Even though this is a guy who has repeatedly, like, just absolutely shit the fucking bed. He for some reason was allowed to keep his job, and this is one of the huge issues that a lot of people have when it comes to the NFL coaching carousel because there's a lot of people who get NFL coaching jobs and they get it off the strength of Bill Belichick and the fact that they've either been an assistant for him or they've been a coach under him. And when you look at Bill Belichick's coaching tree, and I said this on Sunday, it's trash. His whole coaching tree is trash. So when people actually, you know, sit there and say like, oh, he was a Belichick assistant. He's won, Super Bowls as an assistant over him or a coach under him. What the fuck does that mean, yo? It's no different from you recommending, somebody that lives in your hood for a job. That's don't mean nothing else for me. You guys both live in the same area, but Bill O'Brien didn't lead those people to titles. Bill Belichick did. So when people wanted to make all the excuses in the world they have for Bill O'Brien, it just was super pathetic. Um, and they really let this dude. And let me just like paint this picture for you. Bill O'Brien didn't want Deshaun Watson. He didn't want to draft him. I think he wanted Mitch Trubisky. I think that's something that's been rumored. But he didn't want to draft Deshaun Watson. He didn't want to start Deshaun Watson, which is why Deshaun Watson, despite the fact that he played well in the preseason of his rookie year, I think he didn't start until like week 3 or something. And in the weeks that he was actually in, before he ended up like having a knee injury in the 4 games that Deshaun Watson played, he threw something like 19 touchdown passes that year. Like Deshaun Watson was on pace if he actually like stayed healthy his rookie year, he probably could have won MVP. So then now you got a healthy Deshaun Watson. You have a top 3 wide receiver in the league and DeAndre Hopkins. You have a battle worn but still reliable JJ Watt. And you have somewhat of a balanced team and you got no offensive line. Like your offensive line is horrible. And you see Deshaun Watson look very much like how Cam Newton looked like for many years under Ron Rivera, where you could tell that the quarterback is the person who's making all these decisions out there. Like it's not the play calling from the coach. Like you haven't seen so many audibles by Deshaun Watson like since Cam was audibling in and out of different plays. Um, and that's mostly credited to Deshaun Watson's high IQ and his ability to see the play develop. And Deshaun Watson's going to make some mistakes. Like he's not, a flawless quarterback, but a lot of his mistakes that you see has a lot to do with his offensive line and the fact that he, guys pretty much got like 2 seconds in the pocket to make a play. And if he not, he's going to try to have to use his legs. And Deshaun Watson is not the type of scrambler that many of us like look at when it comes to Lamar Jackson. Like they are not the same type of scrambling quarterback. Deshaun Watson is more or less along the lines of the improviser that you see out of Patrick Mahomes. He doesn't have the same arm as Patrick Mahomes, but he has a really good arm. But your head coach had no faith in him. Then when you start him and he plays well, you don't even look at the fact that there's so many holes in your team that by the time that you were actually in a position to fire your own GM and make yourself the GM of the team, you got rid of everything. You traded the top three wide receiver for David Johnson, who, as somebody who's had David Johnson on my fantasy team, I will stay far away from. David Johnson doesn't stay healthy. He's not productive unless he's like super 110% and the scheme fits. You traded a top three receiver for this guy. David Johnson was going to get cut, and you took on his contract. And then you traded your first and your second round and your third round pick, I believe. You signed Lorenzi Tunsil to this massive extension, and you gave out deals to a bunch of guys where you could have given the money to DeAndre Hopkins. The fact that you went this far and you weren't fired until your team started 0-4, like, just be honest about it. If any other head coach was not Bill O'Brien, and if I want to be completely honest, if any other head coach was black, he'd have been fired. You blew a 24 to nothing divisional round lead, traded your top three wide receiver, traded your draft picks, and you're 0-4, and you're wondering why your team is horrible. Any other head coach, any other head coach would have easily been fired. Any other black head coach probably wouldn't have survived the 24 nothing comeback. So it was, and it just shows you that Bill O'Brien wasn't a good coach. What Bill O'Brien was he was lucky enough to have a balanced team in the first part of his tenure, and a team that still underachieved. And then when you get the guys in the right place, you fuck it up. You have a franchise quarterback, one of the best quarterbacks in the league today, and you don't know how to win. And you don't even know why. I don't know, maybe having a top three wide receiver that you traded for nothing would have been great. You know? And I keep telling people all the time, stop trusting these Bill Belichick disciples. They all suck. Bill O'Brien sucks. Matt Patricia sucks. Josh McDaniels should never see another head coaching job. So, I'm happy for Houston that they got rid of Bill O'Brien, but the damage is done. Like it's done. They're not going to be good for the next 2 to 3 years. I hope I'm wrong.